Rise and shine. It's time to get the day started with the morning show of record. It is the Farm2Table Direct Show morning edition. In today's show, you're being watched. Yes, even the private parts. Oh dear, oh dear. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome in all the morning crew. Oh, the names are stacking up. Jack with Dyer Family Farm jumped in first. Keith, bro, good morning. Joy Bartlett, good morning. Good to see you. Clyde, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you there. Good morning, Robbie. Wild Huckleberry. There's Scotty. Well, y'all guys pile on in here. Come on in. Today's show is going to be quite interesting, quite informative. That's right. Anyway, I hope this finds your Wednesday off to a great start. It's certainly good to be back with you all live. Yes, I don't. The Memorex works, but it's not the same as being in here with y'all guys live and getting to enjoy the chat as it happens. But anyway, man, I just stepped out and fed the dog a while ago, and the weather was super nice. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and check in with Dyer Family Farm and the Redneck Weather Report.
Well, good morning, Rednecks. It is 54 degrees, February the 26th, 2025. Got a 9-mile-an-hour south wind, and it still feels like 54 degrees. We're going to get to 68 today. God bless.
Well, might have cut it a little bit short there. But anyway, there it was. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that. Not too different from over here on my mountaintop as I stepped out there earlier. Little cooler, I think, but going to get up about the same high. And definitely felt the breeze. But anyway, we're going to jump right in. Today's show, I got to move quickly or we won't get it done. There's a lot to say on the issue. But anyway, so let's get into today's reality smackdown. The U.S. and Ukraine allegedly, tentatively, agree on economic deal to include rare earth minerals. Ukrainian officials say. Let's see if that's a. Let's see if that's a. I know, Jack. I know. I clicked it too quick because you said see y'all, see y'all next later. Or something. I apologize, Jack. I apologize. It's terrible of me. Uh, I'll do better. Anyway, let's see. White House says it will decide which news outlets cover Trump, rotating some traditional ones. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the changes would rotate traditional outlets from the group and include some streaming services. Interesting. That ought to be see who all we get in there. Uh, Asteroid 2024 YR4 is no longer a threat to Earth, scientists say. I don't know. Oh, hey. Let's see. Did we see anybody else in there? Did I miss anybody? No, not yet. All right. Let's see where we at. Oh, fabric and crafts chain Joann is closing all locations and going out of business. For all the craft people that like to go there and get their stuff, that's a sad, sad day. Let's see. This one's interesting. The United States will begin selling so called gold card visas for $5 million each in the next 2 weeks, according to President Trump. The gold cards will grant permanent residency and a path to citizenship. Wow, $5 million. That's crazy. Wow. Anyway, yesterday the House of Representatives passed a green light, barely passed all. One Republican voted with the Democrats, and all the Democrats voted against this. But anyway, the massive budgetary package to carry out Trump's agenda. Anyway, it's you remember the email y'all heard the other day? That the federal employees had to send an email. 1 million federal employees responded to that email. Anyway, interesting. And today, a witness will tell the House Doge panel how terrorists got $122 million from USAID. Now, that's interesting. Now, this last one, I had to finish on this when I read it because you can't make this stuff up, folks. A New Hampshire woman was arrested after allegedly filming herself urinating on food at a grocery store where she worked and posting the videos online, according to police. You can't make this stuff up, folks. So, yeah, watch where you shop. That's all I got to say. Watch where you shop. Anyway, that is today's reality smackdown and the crazy world we live in. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, so let's jump into history real quick. 1863, Abraham Lincoln signs National Currency Act, established a single national U.S. currency. And yeah, funny how we're still talking about that today. Yeah, currency fighting. Anyway, here's a pattern. It started way back that. uh, Gotta love this one. U.S. Congress raises their own salaries. 1907. So, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pause. I gotta put that up. Yeah, that is correct. You can, but it's gonna be painful. Oh, anyway, appreciate that, guys. 1907, U.S. Congress raises their own salaries to 7,500. Hmm, not much has changed since then, really, if you think about it. Yeah. Anyway, there's just 175,000 in it now. But anyway, 1930, first red and green traffic lights installed in Manhattan, New York City. They can't drive. I've been there. It's not good. 1935, New York Yankees release Babe Ruth. Wow. Anyway, he signs with the Boston Braves. 1952, Prime Minister Winston Churchill announces Britain has its own atomic bomb. Yep. Yeah, the atomic age. 1973, Triple Crown Horse Secretariat bought for a record $5.7 million. That's one expensive horse. 1983, Michael Jackson's Thriller album goes number one and stays there for 37 weeks. Everybody, we remember Thriller, right? Yeah, that was a great one. Let's see. 1989, NFL Dallas Cowboys fire coach Tom Landry after a 29-year career. Yeah, that went down bad. I remember that. That went down bad. 1993, World Trade Center bombing of 1993. Truck bomb explodes in parking garage of the Trade Center at 12:18 p.m., killing 6, injuring over 1,000 in what was the deadliest act of terrorism at that time on U.S. soil. Crazy, and I do remember that too. And we're going to stop right here with this one. 2012, 17-year-old teenager Trayvon Martin shot and killed by George Zimmerman in Sanford, Florida. And it brought off a lot of stuff around the racial divides and racial profiling and that type of thing. I don't know. I remember it. I think I remember Obama making some comments that did not help the situation. But anyway, we're going to stop right there in history because I'll be honest with you, most of the stuff that happened after that was just not that interesting. Anyway, here we go. We're going to jump right in. Yeah, we made good time getting there, getting through all of that. But yeah, had to put a little humor in this morning just to kind of make things chuckle. But let's get on into this onto this topic. You are being watched. Yes, you are being watched, and yes, even the private parts. You ever get the feeling that you're being watched? That maybe there's someone standing over your shoulder watching everything you're looking at? Everything you're saying, hmm, listening in. Do you ever feel like you no longer have any privacy? Don't be paranoid. You might, and you're not being paranoid, because in fact, you are being watched. Someone is looking over your shoulder, and someone is listening. Now for the shocking part. You are the one who has invited them in. That's right, we have invited them in. We have all invited a watching eye and a listening ear into our most private places, into our most intimate conversations. You're probably shaking your head, saying, I don't remember doing that. Well, when you clicked on terms and conditions, when you clicked on accept cookies, when you logged into your devices, you invited algorithms and third party companies to watch and listen in. Oh my goodness, the chat. You guys are killing me. Uh, uh, you're probably shaking. Let's see, where are we at? Now, I am not picking on anyone because I am just as guilty as the next guy, I can assure you. I have my devices, I have those things. But anyway, I've had the experience of saying something to my wife about a particular item or wanting a particular thing or what was for sale. And then the next thing you know, I was getting ads and headlines on my Facebook page. Anybody had that experience? I know it gave us the heebie jeebies. I'll tell you that for a fact. Uh, and now, with the growing AI technology and the looming central bank digital currency, is anything going to be private? How many of you have been to a business that no longer takes cash? I know I've been there. I've seen it, heard about it. Interesting. How many even carry cash? I make a point to try to always have a few dollars on me, but how many even carry cash? It's just so easy to swipe that card or to hold up that phone to a scanner to pay for things or give a code, right? Or buy on the app, right? And that's right. So you might ask, what is the solution to this? How do I fight this? And those are very good questions. But before we dive into a couple of solutions, let's address another very huge part of the problem: privacy. What's the big deal? Why is privacy so important? Why must we preserve our privacy? How many of us remember the world before phones and emojis? Everybody carrying a cell phone, iPads, iTablets, and everything. I remember that, and believe it or not, it was a good world. A world when people didn't broadcast photos of themselves doing all kinds of things that you that you don't want to talk about. And could you imagine mailing that kind of thing out to a complete stranger back in the day? Hmm. And where purchases, by and large, weren't constantly tracked. Interesting. But these days, millions who have grown up in the digital realm think nothing of being tracked. They think nothing of sharing those, just putting things out there that we just never would have thought of. There's no privacy, the thinking seems to go. What's the point? Well, I'll tell you the point. Privacy is a prerequisite for liberty. That's right. Privacy is a prerequisite for liberty. It is as simple as that, and just as complicated. The deliberate erosion of privacy has historically led to tyranny. Now, where I'm about to go next should sound eerily familiar. It was just a few years ago. Out of the playbook for tyranny, isolating people from each other, pitting family member against family member, neighbor against neighbor, encouraging snitching and busybodying, vilifying entire swaths of society, and generally threatening to ostracize those who don't conform. This forced isolation eventually leads to groupthink and anemic opposition. This is the linchpin for how totalitarians exact control over society. Methodologies that were used by communist media, propaganda, and disinformation to divide people and enforce conformity. That's why big tech, from its biometric passports to its facial recognition expansion to the daily private moments we hand over to hackers and trackers, should set off alarm bells. The good news, because if think about that, just a few years ago, I mean, all this stuff was happening right here. This isn't some third world dictatorship. This was happening right here in our own country. But here's the good news: the number one antidote to all the surveillance is to cultivate strong personal relationships of trust, to build your family in many ways that are good and virtuous, and to allow for a good, strong sense of community to ripple outwards. Canceled, fired, debanked. A strong community can help you get back on your feet. A strong local food shed, food supply, can help you access high quality food. The success and fulfillment of all the above is rooted in privacy. Community and relationships aren't possible without it. If you look at the word confidence, for example, it breaks down to con, with, and fidelis, loyalty. When you take someone into your confidence, you don't want the whole world to know what you're talking about. It's based on the bond of trust. Trust is especially vital when you live a life that runs counter to societal norms or desired societal norms. You can't have the freedom to homestead or to do anything that you really want to do without privacy, without some kind of guarantee that those bonds of trust in your community are going to be there. Think of how the early Christians met in secret. Think of the many raids recently on the Amish farms. Trust is imperative, but building it up in an increasingly digital existence means being more careful about the information you reveal online and to whom. And why do we give away our privacy, aside from convenience? It's not a commodity to us, at least. That's the problem. We simply don't value it. We don't even use the word anymore unless referring to cybersecurity. Bleached of its attachment to its privacy is ruthlessly quantified in the marketing world as data, a colorless, lifeless word that has no bearing on our day. We just don't even think about it. Decoupled from privacy's emotional charge, the thinking goes, who cares if marketers, the government, or the Chinese track my data? I have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide indicates that the tracking is warranted. It condones it. The phrase implies that only if you're hiding something criminal or illicit, or that something or owed, you would be concerned about privacy. It further implies that someone else, everyone else, faceless otherwise, has a right to it. All of it. In other words, by using that phrase, we're implicitly condoning spying by anybody, on anybody, and even on ourselves. We need to stop using the phrase nothing to hide and understand that what we're really talking about here is not data, but dignity. That's right, Keith, the digital me. Now I'm going to take this a step further. Would you allow a government official to tag along on your honeymoon? Would you invite your mother-in-law or some 14-year-old overseas to hear and record your most vigorous disagreements with your spouse? Would you let a strange man sit on your children's play dates and then let him approach them with what he knows is their favorite candy, calling them by their family nicknames? You see, dignity, safety, and the vital importance of keep your private sphere private. It's all right there in front of us. And also, it's quite possible that you've allowed someone several times to happen simply by trading access to your data for convenience. And I know that's scary. It isn't our fault, honestly. We've been trained to do it. That's right. We've been trained to do it little by little over time. We've been trained. But here's the thing. There's no question your privacy is being unearthed and mined. Here's a couple of headlines. Apple to pay $95 million settlement over Siri listening to conversations. That was January 2025. January last year, Google loses in court, faces trial for collecting data on users who opted out. Federal Trade Commission and DOJ charge Amazon with violating children's privacy law by keeping kids' Alexa voice recordings forever and undermining parents' deletion requests, May 2023. Amazon must pay over $30 million to claims it invaded privacy with Ring and Alexa. Amazon agrees to pay $25 million. Again, that's the July 2023. Federal Trade Commission sends $5.6 million in refunds to Ring customers as part of video privacy settlement. And those are just a few recent cases, and only the ones involving motion-activated products like Alexa. It's important that we consider what we're giving up when we hand over our privacy wholesale to people who can neither see nor hear. We can see nor hear. People whose motives we cannot know. Solutions. The biggest one is to expand and strengthen those relationships we were just talking about. Ditch the devices. Break bread together. Play music. Get out in nature with family and friends. And I would even say turn off the devices when you do it. All right. Use cash more often. Cash allows for truly private transactions. It's something you can, in theory, maintain your access to, even if you say or do something that other people don't like, i.e. central bank digital currency. Remember the Canadian truckers that had their bank accounts frozen? How would have cash helped them? Also, the less we use cash, the stronger the push for an even higher tech cashless society becomes. And it's real, it's out there. Many are pushing for it. Think about the implications of that. Just that simple, they can turn you off. Think about recently private businesses, listen to this, private businesses do not have to take cash, and it is legal. Or rather, there's no mandate from the federal government requiring them to accept cash, although some states do. Now, you can politely let proprietors know that if they want your continued patronage, they need to accept cash. There's actually a business close by, a restaurant close to me, that doesn't accept plastic. You must pay in cash, in fact. So that's a different thing. So use cash. You'll probably end up spending less money anyway. Here's another one. If you need to have a private conversation, leave the devices off, and even in a separate location, outside and away from the devices, because that's what they're here for. So when I say that you're being watched, and yes, even in the private parts, now you know why. Now you know how that goes. I want to give credit to Cultivate News and Holly Hickman and Stella, and a woman by the name of Stella Morabito, who is an author, contributor, and also a former CIA analyst for a lot of this material and a lot of the sourcing on that, and a lot of the thoughts. It really drove my thoughts on that. So I want to give credit to that, lest we be accused of plagiarism or something like that, without giving due credit to the sources on that. It's very important. And yes, now we're going to take just a couple of minutes to get into some of the comments, as I know I missed some. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, go back up here. Yep. Our phones are watching us as we speak. That is correct, Scotty. Now, Keith got a little funny there this morning. It's called being married. Yeah, that's a different story. uh, I said, good morning, Tracy. I know you came in after, and everybody said hi. Keith, the digital me. Keith put a little funny music video out. It's on our channel, called Me and Chat GPT, and there's a line in there about the digital me, and it has to do with AI and that type of thing. Now, I'm going to pull this one up. Robbie with the Wild Huckleberry. I heard someone say one time, used to, we were so worried that we were being listened in on and couldn't stand a thought. Now we bring that listening device right into the house. That is correct. And as Alexa's one of them, I'll be honest with you, your smart TV, your iPad, your iPhone, all of the above, so many of those things. Now, Keith just brought this in. You can't buy or sell. That's right. That is something uh, that is biblical in prophecy of being able to buy and sell and control. And if we go to central bank digital currency, that could very easily happen. Tracy, I'm going to pull this one up. We get more cash transactions here. They save 3%. And that's good. I know, there's charges on those debit cards and credit cards and things like that, the plastic and stuff. So, that's another thing. Cash can save you money. I love when you voice slightly creepy voice. Yeah, I try not to be maybe a little creepy. uh, let's see. Let me see. It says his phone cover closes over the whole phone when I'm not using it, so they can't see anything. That's actually not a bad tip there, Scott. It's not a bad thing. I've had one of those. Of course, mine had the camera exposed and cut out. But yeah, camera wise, being able to close that off, laying your phone, placing your phone in angles. But your smart TV, like I said, all those devices have capabilities. Now, I heard this. I can't validate this, but I've read at places that that's okay, Jack. We appreciate it. Glad you're listening in. He said he's driving or he'd be more active in the chat. That's okay. You drive safe. That's the more important thing. You drive safe. Hands and eyes on the wheel. I know what it is. On the road ahead. But anyway, that wee hours of the morning, 3-4 o'clock in the morning time frame, 2:33, somewhere in the morning, that there is huge data uploads during that time, and it's when they're uploading all that stuff that we've been searching and all the websites we've been looking at, whether shopping and that type of thing, all that stuff. And anyway, but anyway, let's see, what do we do here? There we go. Okay, get rid of that. Didn't need that guy in there. Anyway, sorry, that's the first one of those I've had. So anyway, I had had one of the little bots or one of the little things from Rumble jump in there. But anyway, so there you go, folks. They are watching, and now you know some of the how, and even some of the ways to defeat it, and really just kind of food for thought that what's happening out there. That we are being watched, we are being listened to, we are being tracked. It's not paranoia, but relax. Okay. We can get around it. We can get around it. Cache, private it, turn the devices off, go outside, enjoy time with your family without the devices. I know Keith has done that. Everybody come over for dinner, turn the devices off, put them away, and actually have conversation. So that is the subject. Please feel free to leave. Y'all guys have been blowing up the chat. Anybody else listening, feel free to leave comments. We look forward to them. And what are some of the ways that you think we can get around this invasion of our privacy? Leave that in the comments section. Leave that behind. Now, let's move forward because I got to get out of here. Tip of the day: don't do don't do anything that you wouldn't want seen on a social media account. Okay, because guess what? As we said, they're watching. So don't do anything you wouldn't want seen on the front page of the newspaper. Don't do anything you wouldn't want the whole world to know about. Just a tip. Anyway, let's move through here. Scotty did, yeah, said, and I've seen people do that, Scotty. So even on my computer, I cover the camera. They, little piece of paper or something just right in front of the camera. I've heard of that. Let's see, real quick. Of course, on my channel, Scotty, or not Robbie, I share my animals, and someone come once not to show them our chickens because they will come for them. Might be a conspiracy, but these days, who knows? Actually, listen, if there's any, I was just reading a thing yesterday. Doug and Stacy put it out, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, where basically the authorities were showing up, biosuits and everything. Then they were basically killing off this guy's chickens because he had some that had the flu, and he had them quarantined, had them separated away from the sick ones, did everything right. This was and it was a large flock, but it was still, it was free range. I think these were like the cage free range, and they had police at the entrances. They had people out there in the buzzer, and they were culling, if you will. So it could be real. It could be real, Robbie. Thank you, Jack. Yes, everybody hit the thumbs up, and we're going to get on to that. Okay, let's get through events. This Saturday, Boston Mountain Homestead Workshop, March 1st, Chester, Arkansas. March 21st, 22nd. What is today? Today is the 26th. 1, 2, holy smokes, 22 days and a wake up. Bro, we got 3 weeks. 22 days and a wake up. March 21st, 22nd, Okie Homestead Expo, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. Tickets still on sale, $50 for 2-day passes. The speaker lineup is awesome. It's going to be a great weekend. Look forward to seeing many of y'all there. March 29th, Arkansas Homesteading Conference, Cleveland County Fairgrounds, Rising, Arkansas. $20 for adults, 17 and under free. This is the 11th year of that event, and it is growing, and that's going to be a good one right in central Arkansas. April 12th, New Beginnings Homestead Expo, Nowata, Oklahoma, at the New Beginnings Church. Put on by Chris Reeves. Keith and I will be there, along with our good friend Dwayne Hall and several others. I look forward to seeing you many there in Nowata, Oklahoma, New Beginnings Homestead. The Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th and 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo, Jasper, Arkansas. That same weekend, the Homestead Conference, Waco, Texas, April 25th and 26th, adults $99, kids 3 to 17, $13. So if you're in the Central Texas region looking for something to do, that's a good one. And of course, that same weekend, April 25th, 26th, 27th, 10 Killer YouTube meetup, Lake 10 Killer, Oklahoma, at the Cherokee Landing State Park, and at the Creek Pavilion. Is where that's going to be. You can RSVP. In fact, you're asked to RSVP if you're going to be there even just one day. 10 Killer YT meetup at gmail.com. That is 10 Killer YT meetup at gmail.com. That is a valid, guaranteed address. And if you got questions or anything, that's who you can go to. Let me see if I can. Anyway, so everybody check that out. Homestead Festival at Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee, June 6th and 7th. $75 general admission. Kids 6 to 17 are $25. It's expensive, but it's a big one. A lot of musical acts, a lot of stuff there. Over 5,000 people last year. Going to be a great event. End of summers. There we go. Into the fall. Ozark Homestead Expo, Marshfield, Missouri. September 5th and 6th. General admission $50. Kids 13 to 17, 15, and 12 and under free, but must have a ticket. Again, their lineup this year is awesome. It's going to be a great time. Then, the end of the month, September, our very own Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, Southeast Expo Center, McAllister, Oklahoma. That is September 26th and 27th. Tickets are $15. You can learn more at Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous on Facebook or at oklahomahomesteadrendezvous.org. The speaker lineup is great. The sponsors, the vendors, it is shaping up to be a really great time. And way more, way better. Anyway, I expect quite a bit of growth this year. Anyway, Homesteaders of America Conference 2025, Front Royal, Virginia, October 10th and 11th. When I looked last, the tickets were still on sale, but they are dwindling down. So that on the East Coast out there, and the lineup there is just beyond anything. They sell about 6,000 tickets to this thing. It is a huge event, and looking forward to that. Anyway, that is the upcoming events, and that is a wrap for today on the Farm to Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining in as we explore the headlines and stories that are impacting our world now and for the future. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit that like button, give me the old thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble if you are not already. It is the best way to stay connected, help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. So until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like y'all. And remember, we are #stronger together. Be a blessing to someone today, and we will see you all on the other side. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.